I'm here today with Paul Johnson, Chief Executive of Power Metal Resources, a global mining and metals company with 13 different projects around the globe. Paul, it's good to speak to you again.
Hello, Alan.
Okay, so what we're going to do today, Paul is going to go through each of the projects that the company has around the world. And I'm going to just ask him one question on each project, and Paul's going to summarize the key points of that particular project. So we're starting, first of all, viewers can find this on the key projects page on the Power Metals website as well. So starting at the top, we have Australia. There are 2 projects in Australia, Paul. Can you tell us the latest news from the Victoria Goldfields project?
Yes, of course. The market news announcements so far have talked about us having 16 license applications originally covering 2,334 square kilometres. We've had 7 of them granted now, covering 848 square kilometres, and we've got a core team of 4 actually working on the ground in Victoria, doing exploration, community liaison, helping us with the further license applications that we're moving into granted status, we hope, in the not too distant future. And alongside all that, we're preparing for the Canadian market IPO of the core interests of the holding company, Red Rock Australasia, so that we can crystallise, demonstrate that value from that package. So in terms of market news flow, I would anticipate updates, of course, on the IPO process, and very importantly, updates on the exploration work that's been done on the ground. We're operating in a territory which is laden with gold prospectivity. Huge amounts of historical information that we're using as a guide to go and do our exploration work, and gold mineralization in the historical record almost everywhere, really, across our license applications and granted licenses. We are very, very excited about pushing this forward. Unfortunately, some of the other companies operating in the area are coming out with some phenomenal news about gold discoveries and exploration findings. And so, of course, we can piggyback on that positive news as well.
Excellent. Okay. So moving further west in Australia, of course, you have the Paterson Province project. Can you tell us the latest on that, please?
Yeah, sure. This is we're effectively acquiring through a UK company, which we intend to list in the London capital markets. First Development Resources Pty Limited, an Australian private company with interests in 5 licenses, 1 granted and 4 applications. One of the applications, RRAL, is the core biggest license area up there in the north, in the Paterson. And it's got some very interesting data that's emerging from our exploration planning work that we're undertaking whilst we work quietly in the background on the license granting process. That exploration planning has found some interesting information related to magnetic bullseyes, some of the targets within our ground. And there is similarity, dare I say it, with the great discovery made by Rio Tinto at Winu, and also the fantastic discovery made by Greatland Gold at Havieron. So we're bubbling in the background with that project. We want to get the license that will all granted. We want to do or complete this acquisition. We obviously want to move it into the markets in London, and we want to get drilling some of these very substantial targets.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're moving to Africa now, Paul, and of course, the areas that have made a lot of the news recently for the company, Botswana. Firstly, on the list of key projects, of course, we have the Molopo Farms Complex. What's the latest there?
Well, we're still on a bit of a high from the original kind of 3 drill holes, and we've announced K16, where we found significant nickel intersections, nickel sulfides. We're doing, just to put that in context, when you do these initial drill programs, you are obviously optimistic of finding the commodity that you're looking for. But the reality is, initial drill programs can just be information finder kind of exercises. So you're looking for the geological environment below the surface, marrying it up with your above the surface work and trying to find clues as to where the metal may be. Well, we hit it on our second hole, which is fabulous. So next step, lots of technical work. This is a huge project with a feeder zone, huge amounts of analysis to undertake on the immense amount of work we've done already. We need to communicate to market what we're doing next. We need to give a full update as to what we found thus far, and we know that. Alongside that exploration work, which is progressing fantastically well, as we've announced, we need to do the corporate restructuring work now because we've earned into our 40% direct project interest, and we're doing the restructuring around that at the moment, and those work streams are happening pretty much in the background because they're more administrative. But the high level point is that we've been successful so far at Molopo, and now we need to push on and really go and find that ore body in detail and do the work. Some of it will be soil geochemistry, and of course some of it will be drilling to really work out what's there mineralization wise.
Okay, so also in Botswana, of course, the projects that has been making the headlines and also catching the attention of the wider financial press, the Kalahari Copper Belt joint venture with Kavango Resources. What's the latest there?
Well, I'm not surprised because I remember the excitement generated at Metal Tiger with our partners MOD back in 2016 when we found T3. This time we're with Kavango, or I'm with Power Metal and Kavango Resources as a partner. We have a 50% interest each in the South Ghanzi licenses, where we found 8 AEM targets, airborne electromagnetic targets. Under the surface, we've done soil sampling on top, and we found copper and zinc soil anomalies that marry up pretty precisely with the targets. The 2 initial targets, Acacia, 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers, and Morula, approximately 2 kilometers wide by 12 kilometers long and open potentially at both ends. These are enormous targets. And of course, the next step really is getting the environmental management plan approved and then moving into drilling. If we strike there, then of course, you know, as with all these big projects with district scale potential we're looking at, it will be transformational for all the parties involved.
District scale potential. That's so really something like that could absolutely dwarf the current market cap.
Well, generally speaking, yes, they do if you find the right kind of deposit, and you know, it's got all the features that are needed to turn this into a mine. And South Ghanzi has a lot of positive attributes going for it at the moment in terms of the depth of the potential mineralization, the strength of the exploration that's been done thus far. The findings are extremely positive. You know, it's close to infrastructure, has all those positive features as well. So it's looking great.
Excellent. Okay. So Paul, still with the Botswana projects, the Ditau Camps project. This is rare earths, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. And we've been relatively quiet on this in the market in recent months, and there's been lots of work going on. So, you know, we obviously want to keep the market fully updated as we go along, and we will do that. We're investigating 10 potential carbonatites at the moment. We're looking for targets that we can define or delineate, and then we can go and drill, which seems to be the key nowadays. You know, everyone wants to see the drill turning, and as soon as we get further information on the project, we will release it as we go along. Okay,
and of course, you recently announced the latest one of the latest acquisitions in the group portfolio. That is, of course, the Tati Project, if I've pronounced that correctly. I hope it's not Tati, but T-A-T-I. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, well, that was a bit of a surprise. I mean, we like the area. We had some good feedback on the licenses. I have to be honest, you know, it's one of those things where when you do these transactions and then you do the follow-up due diligence exploration planning work, you get a bit of a shock because, as we did, we saw the anomalies coming out from the work as we brought all the historical data together. These very large gold, arsenic, and well, I mean, how can I put nickel anomalies? I nearly forgot the word then. Stretching for kilometers long through our license areas. Well, the licenses are not ours, as it were. They're held under option at the moment, and we can go to 100% ownership should we decide to exercise that option. So the first stage is, okay, we've got historical data, that's great, but we want to go on the ground and validate that data. So we're doing that, and there's work undertaken, soil sampling work and related activities that will give us a real feel for the reliability of the historic work and give us some extra information from additional work programs that we're doing. Right now, as you've seen on Twitter, the work is happening on the ground at the moment. It's one of those projects that we warmed to at first. We thought it had potential, but now we're getting increasingly excited about inside the company. This could be a major opportunity for us.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so that it was still in Africa. So we've gone slightly further north. 2 projects, one on the DRC, one in Tanzania. So going to the DRC, you've got the Sinker project. I believe this is a cobalt project. Can you bring us up to speed on that?
Yeah, sure. This is a copper cobalt project. We have a 70% interest, and we've identified historically a 6.8 kilometer anomaly through the heart of the license area. We've done various work on it, and it's all been positive all the way through. We were going to do an induced polarization survey as next step, but we decided, you know, based on the information, let's just go and drill this thing. So the next step is drilling. In recent times, we've been awarded a 25-year production license over the property, which is fabulous because it means that we have security of tenure. We already have the ability to produce from it if we find what we're looking for. Very positive about it. Just need to stick some of those holes in the ground to see what's there.
Of course. Okay. And finally, in Africa, before we hop over the Atlantic, we're in Tanzania with the Haneti Nickel Project. That's a joint venture with Katoro Gold. What can you tell us about that, Paul?
Yeah, well, I've been following this project for years. Huge project footprint, very exciting potential. It's polymetallic, but what we're focusing on at first isn't the gold, the lithium, the rare earths that there are on the project, but the nickel sulfides. And at Hanetti, there is a prime drill target, Mahanza Hill. We did some preparatory drilling, RAB drilling that we announced earlier on in the year, just to set us up for a deep diamond drill program. We got the information that we needed, and now the next step is simply doing the deep diamond drilling. So we're working with our partners, Katoro Gold, on this to try and push and get this drill program done as soon as possible. And let's see what's there.
Excellent. Okay, so hop across the Atlantic now. We get to Canada first of all. We have 2 projects in Canada. The Silver Peak project, that's of course in British Columbia. Can you tell us where we are on that, please, Paul?
Yeah, well, after we engaged on the project mid last year, we did some due diligence sampling at first that demonstrated, I think it was up to 14,900 or so grams a ton silver. We then followed up with a drill program, or we tried to complete a drill program, but the snows came in November, December time and prevented us from actually completing the program. But even so, what we did do, we released some results, and we got up to circa 6,000 grams a ton from the limited drilling that we did. So very, very great place the project was in. Power has a 30% interest in it. And then we were talking with our partners earlier on this year, and we said, you know, this is a great project, so we would like to accelerate our interest in it, because we had to do various earning stages, and we completed all of that. We paid out shares, we paid out warrants, we paid out the cash, and now we have a 30% interest in it. We're IPOing effectively the Silver Peak project, and that process is ongoing at the moment, and again, we need to provide updates to market on it. But we're also eager to complete the drill program that we started back in Q4 last year. So there will be further updates on that as well, because it's just begging to have that drill program completed, and that will, of course, help add value to the project if we have a successful program, which we believe we will.
Excellent, Paul. Okay, so heading to the north shore of Lake Superior now, we come to the Schreiber Hemlo Gold project. Of course, that's not far from the Barrick Hemlo Gold Mine, very famous there. Can you tell us about the 4 projects I believe you have there, Paul?
Yeah, sure. We have we acquired 7 different properties in Hemlo-Schreiber in Q1 this year. We then grouped them into Hemlo North, which is 3 of the properties, dotted east, Olga Lake and Roger Lake, called it the Hemlo North Project. To our west is Panther Metals, that great London company that's planning to drill this year on the property. And we're very grateful for them doing that because it helps us with our understanding of our property as well. And then to our east, we have Palladium 1, who have been coming out with some fantastic drill results from their project just to our east. So we have got some great neurology going on there, and we want to do some work on Hemlo North ourselves, and that will happen in a short while. And the further information on that will come out to market. We've also got 4 other projects: Cocoa East, Makella, Enable and Magical, just to the west of Hemlo North. And again, work will be undertaken on those. There is a buzz about Hemlo-Schreiber. And there's lots of interest in our projects coming into the company. And that's great because it shows we took our footprint just at the right time, in the right projects. And I think some interesting stuff will emerge from Hemlo-Schreiber, both corporately and also from an exploration perspective.
Excellent. Okay, so finally we're heading to the USA. You have three key projects there. 2 are very recent, of course. But if we start off with the Alamo Gold project.
Yes, the Alamo. We took this project on after quite a bit of a due diligence period back in 2020 that was interrupted with COVID-related delays, restrictions, and all that. We took it on. We did some ground exploration work. We've been finding some interesting things along the way, and we've been pegging some additional ground as we go and building the size of the packages held at the Alamo Gold project. We've got a new exploration program, a sampling program, and some percussion drilling that we want to get on with. And to do that, we need a permit from the local authorities that we've got in process at the moment. So as soon as we get that permit through, we can carry on and we can do that work, which is all paid for effectively now, because under the first year commitments, we had to pay a minimum of $100,000, and that's all paid and done. So we just want to crack on with the work and make an announcement about what's happening there.
Excellent. Okay. And then the 2 recent acquisitions. Firstly, we've got the Golconda Summit project, which of course is in the Nevada region. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, sure. Well, holy moly, some of those grades, I tell you, we've got historical information from Golconda, which shows some phenomenal gold grade near surface from trenching and at surface from trenching. And we really just want to get cracking on the ground exploration, do some more trenching, find out a little bit more about the property, get some more analysis done, and see what the grades are from our own work. It's situated slap bang in the middle of some great properties with phenomenal millions of ounces of gold in situ, and we think there's a shot here actually in Golconda of finding something tremendous. The option agreement that it's written under, where we earn in effectively to this over a period of years, is very reasonable. The costs are very modest, and the biggest kind of element cost-wise going forward will be exploration cost, but we're starting with a sensible cost program to see what we find. Looking forward to releasing results on that one.
Excellent. That sounds really good. So finally, of course, we have the Garfield and Stonewall projects. What can you tell us about those, Paul?
Well, Garfield and Stonewall, we've been talking, with Patrick. I've known Patrick at Sunrise for some time, and he's had for some time some projects up for joint venture or disposal. And we were looking at the various projects. We like Garfield and Stonewall for various reasons. Oliver, our exploration manager, is now deeply involved with the business from all areas, and he's very experienced in North American projects, and particularly in Nevada. So we felt that those 2 projects, with their potential and where they were situated, would form a nice trio of Nevada projects. It came in at modest cost. It was a fair deal for all sides. And now we don't just have one project, Golconda. We have 3 Golconda Garfield projects. and Stonewall, which makes a very strong project portfolio for that part of the world. What we do with it and how we move it forward, well, we're just going to do some initial exploration first, and then we'll decide on how we're going to deal with this corporately.
Excellent. I know Patrick, of course. I've interviewed him here on BCTV with his company Tertiary Minerals, and I know they're very excited about what they're finding out in Nevada. So it'll be very interesting to see what you find at Garfield and Golconda. So, Paul, the business update today, we've covered all the projects, and of course, you've outlined where you are with each one at present. And you said today, in summary, you're bursting at the seams with discovery potential and crystallizable value, and the balance of 2021 is the proving ground for this for this view. What do you think is going to crystallize the value in power metal, first of all?
Yeah, that's $1 million question, isn't it? I think we've got some phenomenal stuff that's come out of Molopo. Without question, and we need to chase that down. That is potentially a very significant opportunity for us. We've also got multiple different projects on the cusp of discovery, mainly through drill programs that are imminent, effectively, and really could start at any time, that can further build the confidence that people have within our business. And of course, all businesses' market caps grow on the basis of confidence and speculation. What perhaps at this particular juncture, with the markets a little bit subdued, and we don't have is the rampant speculation in our business. But that's cool, because I want people to see that we've built a company founded on the three great destinations for resource exploration and development of North America, Africa, and Australia. We built it with project packages that make sense, some of which we will continue to develop within our own business, and some of which we will spin out into their own IPOs, generating value for our balance sheet, and also accelerating their own development because they'll be independently managed and financed. And I want people to feel a degree of trust in our business as we take it forward, that we're taking the right measures to protect their interests as shareholders and also to grow their business quite aggressively. It is a bit of a unique formula. It's a bigger business model than many people will be used to. It means that we have a lot going on, which makes it difficult to understand. But as one or two of these things, either understandable discoveries occur or spin-outs with clear crystallized value occur, people will start to see what that means for the portfolio as a whole. Because as one or two drop, as it were, then you can start to extrapolate, and you say, well, if they've got that level of market value from one of these things working, what will happen if two or three work, or four or five, or five, 6 or 7? Because I look at our project portfolio, and I would say I've got a great degree of confidence that we're going to have multiple exploration discoveries. I've got great degree of confidence that we're going to have multiple valuable spin-outs. Now, my confidence is one thing, and you'd expect me as CEO to be a confident individual with regard to my own business, but it's delivery that matters. And that's why I say the proving ground is the balance of 2021.
Yeah. And on that note, Paul Johnson, Chief Executive of Power Metal Resources, thank you for updating us today.
Thank you very much, Alan.